Steve Salluzzo. I am Joe Doyle. I know we've met before, but thank you so much for your time today.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm here on behalf of the McQuade Jesuit Alumni Association. And I know that you've only, you've been here for a couple months, but I can still say welcome.
Thank you.
And we are so happy to have you here. I should let you know that leading up to this interview, I contacted a bunch of well-heeled alums, and we went in and we pooled a gift for you.
Thank you so much.
To welcome you to the institution, welcome you back to the institution.
Thrilled to have this. Thank you so much.
So you can enjoy your McQuade Jesuit alumni hat.
I'm hoping now that we're almost in May, I don't need this for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Terrific.
This is great. Appreciate it very much.
Well, thanks for taking the time today. I know that when I finally learned that you were hired after the months of searching and reviewing candidates, that not only did we find someone who was experienced and had a great resume for the job, but we found someone who was a proud alum of the school. So I speak for the association in saying we're thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we hope it's going well.
It's going great. I'm having a blast, man. It's been a really good 2 months. Staff has been great. Faculty has been awesome. Students have been terrific. It's really, it is exactly what I had hoped for when I came over, that soft landing and welcoming environment. It's been great.
Terrific. All right, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about your early years? Where did you grow up in Rochester? How did you end up at McQuade? Anything else you'd like to share about your time before the school?
Sure, yeah. So my parents aren't from Rochester. They're transplants, and we lived in the Browncroft area, so I went to St. John the Evangelist on Humboldt Street, grades K through 6, and then followed suit into Blessed Sacrament on Monroe Ave, which was grades 7 and 8. A lot of my friends through my time at St. John's and Blessed Sacrament had older brothers that went to McQuade, and so one day I came home and said to my parents, I'm going to go to McQuade. That's what brought me here. All my friends were coming here. My first time setting foot in this building was the day I took the entrance exam, and the second day was first day of school, freshman year. And it's a very simple story, easy story, but it was one where my parents were great about wanting me to have a Catholic education, but were open to the school I went to for high school, and I'm so thrilled to have gone to McQuade.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you grew up in the Browncroft neighborhood. So did I.
Oh, no kidding.
Croydon Road.
Oh, it was Windermere.
What a great
street.
So
right next to each other.
Great street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, next, you're in such a unique position that you've excelled in leadership roles throughout your career. It's how you landed at McQuade to be its next president. But looking back to your time here as a student, what kind of lessons or skills or values did you take with you that have helped you along the way and led you back here?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think as a student, I never really recognized what McQuade was doing for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not only an alum, but I'm also the parent of an alum. Mm-hmm. And so I've had the privilege of watching my son go through his time here at McQuade and really got a much better understanding for what McQuade did for me in his time here. He's a 2018 grad, I'm a 1990 grad, so I had a little bit of time and distance in between the two. And I can honestly tell you, I think there's a couple of things that McQuade did for me. Number one, the values that exist here. They existed when I was a student here, and then 28 years later, my son is a student here, same value system. And I think that unwavering component of values has been woven within, and I think that that certainly had an impact on me. Mm-hmm. Second piece is that McQuade really, truly taught me how to think. And not take things at face value, question things as appropriate, and really dig deep into wanting to learn more. Mm-hmm. I pride myself in being a lifelong learner. Mm-hmm. I think that it's you learn in many different ways and capacities, and I think one of the things is being inquisitive. Yeah. And I've embraced that, and it's really gotten me through a lot of different spots in my life, both good, bad, and otherwise, that have allowed me to grow and continue to grow, and I attribute all of that back to McQuade.
Yeah. And what a great experience to see your son go through this.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And there were so many things, like I said, that existed from a values base, but also a tradition. Yep. And to see that still be part of the fabric of the school, woven into the students, whether you were here in the 90s, whether you were here in 2015 to 2020 and beyond. And in my short time here, coming in the spring has been great because I've been able to be a part of the awards assembly and those fun springtime events that take place, and it's the same, and it's just terrific.
So I imagine since you've been back for a couple months, some of the old memories of being a student maybe have been reinvigorated.
Yes.
Tell me about what you remember from your experience several decades ago. What were some of your favorite memories as a student?
You know, it's another great question. I will tell you that I think, simply put, the best memory I had is just with my friends. And whether we were sitting in homeroom or a class or after school, whether we were playing a sport or even watching our friends participate in a sport or even the play, I think that those opportunities were all there. But probably the biggest memory I have is in my junior year. One of my classmates, his name's Terry Wolak. Terry was playing football. We had a game at Gates Chili. Terry went head-to-head with a running back from Gates Chili and didn't get up.
Wow.
And so going through that as a class was really tough, and Terry made a full comeback. And I remember at the Winter Sports Assembly, whole school is there and introducing all of the students that were participating. And at the very, very end, one of the MC said, "We have one more surprise," and Terry walked out of the coach's office underneath the balcony, and the place just went bananas.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool memory, and it really brought our class together, but also the whole school. And it was really, that stands out for me because it was transformational for us.
Yeah, those close relationships, that brotherhood sounds like it was formed.
100%. 100% it was. Yep.
Okay. Well, now, how about Steve, the young ruffian? Tell me about how, if President Steve, either today or in yesteryear, were to get Jug at McQuade Jesuit, what kind of stuff would you have been into? You know?
So let me talk about my student experience. So it's totally boring. I got Jug once. It was my freshman year. It's really a very boring story. I did not bring a note in after I came back from vacation, so I was the recipient of Jug on that day. It was the spring of my freshman year. I still remember sitting in the Jug room, and I wrote conduct discipline over and over again to fill the front and back of a sheet of paper. So it obviously had an impact because I still remember the 2 words I had to write, but it's nothing that like would knock your socks off from something that was over the top.
I can't believe we gave you the job.
I know. I can't connect on that end, I guess. I think that if I were to be in that position today to receive Jug, and hopefully Dr. Parks doesn't give that to me, I would say that it probably would have to do with, again, going back to my inquisitive nature from being formed here. It would be questioning authority and teachers. Now I've learned to do that in a respectful way, but maybe that would be the one that would get me in today's world.
Good. The boundary pusher.
A little bit.
All right. Well, so you've been on the job a few months now. You started in March, is it?
Early March.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're getting your feet wet a little bit. What should our alumni community know about what you've seen so far in the building? And any sort of early thoughts on what's to come in your leadership?
Sure. As I started before, I think that the school's in a great spot. People here truly care, and that's number one. Students are terrific. Parents have been great. Alumni's been terrific. Faculty and staff are really, I mean, they're doing their job plus, and that care factor exists. And so what I've seen in the last 2 months has been all positive. There's always things that we can work on. There's things that we need to address as we move forward into the future. But I think that the present is really, really strong, and it's invigorating and fun to be part of that. I think as we go into the future, really looking at our strategic plan, the areas that need to be looked at and reviewed and assessed are enrollment, which is really a challenge in today's environment in upstate New York, in particular Rochester and Monroe County. Certainly fundraising is a component component of that, looking at our facilities and how we're keeping up with our public school counterparts, and making sure that we have wonderful facilities to attract new students, but also retain the students we have. So I think that strategic plan is going to be a really important component to keeping us guided as we move into the future, but also reviewing it regularly and understanding what's working, what's not working. Interaction with alumni is going to be critical to our success. Again, doing kind of what we're doing right now, talking about when we were here as a baseline, but also what's today's student looking for, and reviewing our curriculum, making sure it matches with preparing students for the next level, whether it's college or the workforce or the military, whatever they decide to do. We want to make sure that we're producing great young men, and that cannot be compromised ever.
That's great. Exciting.
It is. Absolutely.
We're excited to see how this goes.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get you out of here on this one, as they say.
Okay.
Look, I think we all have our opinions that are very high of McQuade Jesuit, but what do you think makes this school, this institution so special?
That's a good question. I think that there's a few components of it. Certainly the brotherhood that exists, and I'm not embarrassed to say this, I am closer with my high school classmates than I am with my college classmates. I talk to a lot of guys from my class on a regular basis, and I think that there's something special in that. And those that I don't see on a regular basis, it's almost like no time has passed in between our conversations, and that's something special. I think that the connection with a lot of the faculty members that were here when I was a student here, I see out and about, and we always have a wonderful conversation, and I think that there's that respect that exists between student, teacher, and now teacher and alum, and I think that family environment certainly is a component of it. Again, I think I said it before, the values that exist and the Jesuit values, the Ignatian identity, all lend itself to firm footing to allow our students, when they're here, to be formed, and then to move that forward as they graduate. And again, I'm lucky enough to have been here as a student, but also be the parent of a student and now a grad, and that has never changed. And I think that's special. And it's not anything that any one person does. It's something that's built into the fabric of the school, and the fact that the school has put together a mission and ministry office to really look at how to continue that in meaningful ways that are deliberate, intentional, but most importantly resonate with the students. I think that's something very special. And then take it a step further with our alumni base. We have tens of thousands of alum that are out there doing all of this, and I think that network is so powerful and so wonderful that it doesn't take much to figure out that you've got a McQuade alum, that's nearby, that's willing to help. Not everybody has it smooth sailing all the time, and I think that the willingness for the alumni to get together and support an alum is just a wonderful component that starts in this building every day. Yeah.
Well, terrific, Steve. This brief time with you has been wonderful.
Thanks.
We, on behalf of the Alumni Association, again, we wish you all the best
of luck. That's awesome. Appreciate it.
And welcome aboard again. Thank you.
Thrilled to be here. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.